Well, it looks like it's that time again. MLA has released another edition of their handbook. So what does this mean? I know every time they come out with a new edition, if you're like most people, you panic and you say, great, what did they change this time? And if you remember the 8th edition, tons of changes. Like they changed everything willy-nilly. Well, luckily, in this 9th edition, there's not a ton that got changed. In fact, it's pretty similar, and if anything, it's just an expansion of the 8th edition. So if you want the TLDR, the short version of it, you know that thing at the start of a URL starts with https://. Sometimes there's not an S. That usually means it's not secure. That is called a protocol. And in the 8th edition, they said, to heck with that. We don't need that. It's not important. It just makes the URL ugly. Well, in the 9th edition, they've come back and they've said, sometimes you need it. So what does that mean? Well, what they say is if you are in a word processor that doesn't allow hyperlinking without that protocol there, then you should probably include it. And that's if you want it to be clickable. A lot of the examples they use in the book don't actually use the protocol. They just leave it off of there. The one time you absolutely have to use it is in a DOI, which is a database object identifier. Something, hang on, to the Google machine. All right, it was digital object identifier. I mean, that was pretty close. You got to give me an A for effort. Anyway, they say you need to use it whenever you're using a DOI, which is really when you're citing an academic journal entry, from an electronic source. And that's when you need the protocol. Other than that, you can really leave it off of there. It's up to you. If your teacher or professor wants it, then you want to include it, just ask them. One other change that came in the 9th edition is they have an entire chapter on using inclusive language, which sounds great. I can also sum it up for you because it's a grand total of maybe 4 pages, and it is don't be a jerk. That's it. Okay, but no, seriously, don't call out someone's gender, their ethnicity, their sexual orientation, unless it's necessary. If it's actually relevant to what you're writing about. There's no need to call it out. That'd be weird. Why would you do that? There are other things like don't refer to entire groups of people as a monolith. For example, you wouldn't just say Native Americans unless you're talking about the greater population of Native Americans. You would actually call out which tribe they came from. There's other things about like don't judge people's experiences, Google stuff to make sure you're not using offensive language. Like I said, don't be a jerk. That's all it comes down to. So one other big change in this 9th edition of the book, and really the main reason I think you should buy it, is it expands on everything. Not in the guidance necessarily, but in the fact that they describe everything super clearly. They give hundreds and hundreds of examples of different types of sources and how you would cite it. What if you don't have an author? What if you have multiple authors? What if there's no title on the web page? What if the web page doesn't have a clearly spelled out name? There's a lot of different examples in here, and they cover just about everything. If you want to cite a tweet, it'll even tell you how to do that, which I don't know why you're doing that in an academic paper, but to each their own, and it'll teach you how to do that. And it's actually super easy to look up because right at the end of the book, they just have those hundreds of examples, and they're all kind of categorized. So you have all your like electronic sources, you have books, you have articles, you have newspapers. Everything is back there. There's an index, you can look things up. I think for that reason alone, it's probably worth buying this. And in all transparency, I am an Amazon affiliate. I do have a link down below. Should be in the description. You might find it in the comments. I might link it here if YouTube lets me. You can buy it from that, and I get a small profit that goes to me. That helps support this channel. You don't have to do that, though. You can always just go to Amazon and look for it yourself. You want the MLA Handbook 9th edition. You can also go to your campus library, and they probably have copies there, or your campus bookstore, and you can probably buy one there. So that really sums it up. That's why I think you should probably buy this thing. It's a super useful, look at this, look how thick this book is. There's tons of examples in here, and you'll need it more than you think you will. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you have questions, please put them down below in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and thanks so much for watching.